The forest clearing was silent except for the crackling of Marcus Hale's small campfire. He sat hunched over a dented metal pot, stirring what remained of his meager stew, potatoes, dried meat, and herbs he'd foraged that morning. The expedition had gone wrong 3 days ago. The shuttle crashed, the crew scattered, and now he was alone on this god-forsaken moon, waiting for a rescue signal that might never come. He lifted the spoon to his lips and paused. 4 pairs of eyes watched him from the darkness beyond the firelight. Marcus froze. His hand instinctively moved toward the plasma pistol at his hip, but he stopped when he saw them clearly. They weren't predators. They were children. Small, scaly children. They crept forward on all fours, their movements hesitant and jerky. Their scales shimmered in shades of copper, silver, and deep emerald under the flickering flames. Wings, too small and frail to carry them, were folded tightly against their backs. Their snouts were short, their horns barely nubs. They couldn't have been more than a meter tall. Dragons. Marcus had read the reports. Indigenous sentient species. Apex predators. Territorial. Intelligent. Dangerous. But these 4 looked anything but dangerous. They looked starving. The smallest one, with copper scales that seemed dull and lifeless, stepped forward. Its voice was thin, crackling like dry leaves. "Can we eat your leftovers?" Marcus blinked. The translator implant in his ear rendered the draconic speech into perfect English, but the words still didn't make sense. Leftovers? He looked down at his pot. There wasn't much left, maybe half a bowl's worth. He looked back at the children. Their ribs pressed against their scales. Their eyes were sunken. The copper one swayed slightly, as if standing took all its remaining strength. Marcus set the spoon down. "You want this?" he asked, gesturing to the pot. All 4 heads nodded in unison. He should have been cautious. Protocol dictated maintaining distance from indigenous species, but protocol hadn't accounted for the hollow look in their eyes. "Come here," Marcus said quietly. They shuffled forward, cautious but driven by hunger. He divided what remained of the stew into 4 portions using his bowl, canteen lid, and 2 flat stones he cleaned quickly. It wasn't much. It wasn't enough. But it was all he had. The children devoured it. They didn't speak. They didn't look up. They ate with the desperate focus of those who didn't know when they'd eat again. The copper one finished first and licked the stone clean, its forked tongue scraping every last trace of broth. When they were done, they sat back, panting softly. "Thank you," the copper one whispered. Marcus nodded. "Where are your parents?" The 4 exchanged glances. The silver one, slightly larger than the others, spoke. "Mother hunts. Father is gone. We wait." "How long have you been waiting?" 3. "Sunrises?" 3 days. The same amount of time Marcus had been stranded. He looked at them again. Really looked. Their wings bore tears. Their claws were cracked. These weren't just hungry children. They were abandoned, or lost, or both. Marcus sighed and reached into his pack. He pulled out a protein bar, one of his last 2, and broke it into 4 pieces. "Here, take these 2. Their eyes widened. The emerald one, who hadn't spoken yet, made a soft chirping sound of disbelief. "Are you sure?" the copper one asked. "Yeah," Marcus said. "I'm sure." They ate the protein bar with the same desperate hunger, and when they finished, they didn't leave. They curled up near the fire, their small bodies pressed together for warmth. Within minutes, they were asleep. Marcus stared at them for a long time. Then he pulled his thermal blanket from his pack and draped it over them. He woke to the sound of wing beats. Massive wing beats. Marcus scrambled to his feet, grabbing his pistol as a shadow passed overhead. The fire had died to embers, and dawn was just breaking over the trees. The 4 children stirred, blinking awake in confusion. Then she landed. The dragon was enormous, easily 15 meters from snout to tail. Her scales were a deep, royal blue that shimmered like sapphires in the early light. Her wings folded with the precision of a master architect's blueprint, her eyes burning and bright, fixed on Marcus. They were the same blue as the dawn sky. "You," she said, her voice a low rumble that vibrated through his chest. "You fed my children." Marcus raised his hand slowly, the pistol dangling uselessly from one finger. Yes, they were hungry." The dragon, Lady Visara, his translator identified her by some linguistic marker, stepped closer. Each footfall shook the ground. The children scrambled out from under the blanket and rushed to her, chirping and clicking excitedly in their native tongue. She listened, her gaze never leaving Marcus. "They say you gave them your food," she said finally. "All of it. It wasn't much. It was everything you had." Marcus swallowed. "They needed it more than I did." Visara lowered her massive head until her eyes were level with his. He could feel the heat radiating from her nostrils. One wrong move, one perceived threat, and she could incinerate him where he stood. "I have hunted across 3 territories," she said quietly. "The prey has fled. The rivers have dried. My mate died defending our nest from raiders. I left my children hidden while I searched for food. I failed them." Her voice cracked on the last word. "And then a human, a stranger, a creature from the stars, feeds them without hesitation, shares his survival supplies, covers them with his own warmth." She pulled back slightly, her expression unreadable. "Why?" Marcus looked at the 4 children clinging to their mother's legs. The copper one met his gaze and chirped softly. "Because," Marcus said simply, "they were hungry. And I had food. What else was I supposed to do?" Visara was silent for a long moment. Then she bowed her head. "You have honored my clutch with your kindness, Marcus Hale. This is a debt I cannot repay with mere words. You don't owe me anything. I owe you everything." She turned to her children and spoke quickly and draconic. They chirped in acknowledgement and climbed onto her back. Then she looked at Marcus again. "Where is your nest? Your people?" "Gone. Crashed. I'm waiting for rescue. Then I will take you to the human outpost at the valley's edge. And until your people come, you will be under my protection. No predator will touch you. No storm will claim you." Marcus opened his mouth to protest, but the look in her eyes stopped him. This wasn't a favor. This was an oath. "Thank you," he said quietly. Visara dipped her wing, creating a ramp. "Climb." As Marcus settled between her shoulder blades, the copper dragon child crawled up beside him and nestled against his side. "You're a good human," it whispered. Marcus smiled, his eyes stinging. "You're good kids." And as Lady Visera launched into the sky, carrying him toward salvation, Marcus Hale understood something fundamental about the universe. Kindness wasn't a human trait, but perhaps humanity had perfected it.